For as long as people do not honor the protocols prescribed by government, kung ayaw nilang sumunod, ayaw nilang maniwala, walang katapusan ang COVID. Because there are 1,010,000 and yung nababakunahan, malagay na natin, you have breached the 40 million mark. Ganun pa man, yung naiwan would also be in danger of contamination. Yan ang problema dyan sa mga tao na hindi nakakaintindi nakakaintindi pero ayaw sumunod. Kung talagang ayaw ninyong sumunod, then we can go into marami. Ayaw ko lang sabihin, but we have the power to control it actually. Kung ginusto lang namin pahirapan ang tao.
President Duterte claims murder or homicide charges may be filed against COVID-19 patients who intentionally infect others. The Health Department flags the continuous increase in COVID-19 infections in Visayas and Mindanao. The FDA finally grants emergency use authorization for Sinopharm vaccines. Less than 2 hours ago, a magnitude 5.5 earthquake rocked Surigao del Norte. FIVOX warns of possible aftershocks. And meet Marvel Comics Philam heroine, Ariel Agbayani. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Kicking off today's newscast with the government insisting that murder charges may be filed against COVID-19 patients who have knowingly spread the virus and caused the death of another person. Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Sal Panelo explained that homicide can also be charged against COVID-19 patients who unintentionally caused the death of others. Panelo added that reckless imprudence may also be charged against COVID-positive individuals who attend mass gatherings and transmit the virus. President Duterte agreed with Panelo's pronouncements, but clarified that this will still depend on the situation.
Although medyo malayo masyado sa isip ng tao yan, but it is possible. If he knows that he is sick with COVID-19 and he goes about nonchalant, papasyal-pasyal ka lang dyan, it could be murder, sabi nga ni Sal. At kung hindi, yung reckless imprudence would really mas swak doon sa sitwasyon na yun.
Kung alam niya po, pumunta siya sa isang lugar, alam niyang may sakit siya ng coronavirus at nakahawa siya at namatay, ay yan po ay talagang sadyang pagpatay. Papasok po yan sa murder sapagkat intentional. Alam mo na nga makakahawa ka.
The Health Department notes a slight downtrend in COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon over the past week. That is, despite seeing a rise in new cases recorded over the same period. Health Secretary Francisco Duque says the NCR posted a lower average daily case count compared to the prior week. But Duque also flagged the worsening COVID-19 situation in Visayas and Mindanao.
Patuloy na nagpapakita ng pagtaas ang kaso sa Visayas at Mindanao, kung saan mas mabilis ang pagtaas nitong nakaraan linggo sa Visayas habang ang Mindanao ay malapit na sa bilang ng rest of Luzon.
Meanwhile, the OCTA research team says that the pandemic fatigue is causing some Filipinos to risk attending social gatherings as lockdowns persist across the country. Here's the report.
A compound in Old Balara, Quezon City remains under lockdown after 72 of its residents tested positive for COVID-19. The culprit, a wedding reception. One of the attendees, the wedding car's driver, was already infected with the virus. He got it from a drinking session with fellow compound residents last month. The Quezon City LGU has already issued a show cause order against the homeowner's president as well as the barangay chairman Alan Franza. Franza said they never fell short in reminding residents.
Katunayan po, nung nagpaalam sila rito ay hindi po natin sila pinayagan. Pero still, in-insist nila na ituloy na hindi nalalaman ng barangay.
Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte said village officials may have been complacent due to the change in quarantine status.
I believe it had a psychological effect on the people in general, wherein they felt probably that the virus was dissipating and that things were safer and that they could be more, pwede silang magluwag sa kanilang mga ginagawa.
Over in Cebu City, a similar gathering was caught on video. Customers of a bar in Barangay Kasambagan partied with no face masks and disregarding social distancing. According to the Freeman, guests partying at the bar's outdoor premises started crowding indoors when it rained on Saturday. Cebu City's LGU has issued a show cause order against the establishment along with 9 others that also supposedly violated health protocols.
As we try to open our bars, if we found out that there will be transmission there, we will not be hesitant to do drastic measures in order to address the issue.
Following these incidents, the health department strongly reiterated that partying is still not allowed.
Nakikiusap sa ating mga local government units at sa ating publiko na ipinagbabawal na rin po ang pagtitipon gaya ng mga parties na maaring maging source ng super spreader events. Kaakibat na sanctions na para sa mga local government officials na hindi magpapatupad ng mga standards na ito sa kanilang komunidad.
On One News agenda, Octo Research's Guido David said such gatherings are the result of pandemic fatigue. He said the only way to avoid transmissions at this point is to ramp up vaccinations.
We're always under constant threat of a surge. And that's why it's important for people to get vaccinated.
Arian Kalumbiran, we are One News.
The Food and Drug Administration has granted Chinese-made Sinopharm vaccines emergency use authorization. In last night's Talk to the People, FDA Director General Eric Domingo said that the agency approved Sinopharm's EUA application on Monday, so the national government may receive donated shots from the Chinese state firm. Recall that Health Secretary Duque wrote the FDA a letter last month requesting for Sinopharm's EUA, and the Chinese pharmaceutical brand had already acquired the World Health Organization's nod in mid-May, making it the first Chinese-made shot to get the WHO's approval. President Duterte is calling on Filipinos to complete their COVID-19 shots. Duterte started his weekly taped address last night with a reminder that protection against COVID-19 will not be complete until a person completes his or her second shot. This after the Health Department reported last week that more than 100,000 vaccinees have yet to return for their second dose. The President also urged those who have already been vaccinated to keep following health protocols.
Sa first injection ninyo, kailangan kayo ng second injection. Please find time to go back and line up and show your card so that they would know that you are receiving the second dose.
The government has expanded its vaccination drive on Monday with the inclusion of some 35 million Filipinos under the A4 priority group. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
As a fast food cashier dealing with dozens of strangers, Regine Alvarez de Monera always feared catching COVID-19. But as one of the first of millions of economic frontliners to get their jabs on Monday, Regine says this doesn't just guarantee her safety, but her family's as well.
Cashier pa po ako din kung ano-anong pera na hawakan ko galing sa mga ibang tao.
3 months after rolling out its vaccine drive, government finally expanding its priority list to include the A4 category, or the Essential Workers Group. In a ceremonial vaccination in SM Mall of Asia, the national government inoculated 50 essential workers.
Lahat ng ating mga kababayan na kailangan lumabas ng kanilang mga bahay para magtrabaho ay babakunahan na.
The A4 Essential Workers Group include all government and private sector workers, informal sector workers, self-employed individuals who work outside their homes, and those who work in private households who need to physically report to work. Private and public workers only need to show their work IDs, while informal sector workers can bring any proof of business document.
Mas mapanatag yung loob ko para makaiwas po sa sakit or sa COVID.
According to the IATF, there are two phases for the A4 vaccination. First phase will focus on the 13 million workers on NCR plus 8 because of their high concentration of COVID cases. Phase 2 will focus on the 22.5 million workers from areas outside the NCR plus 8. That's a total of 35.5 million workers. The A1 to A3 categories comprise more than 25 million Filipinos. In the last 3 months, we have only vaccinated some 6 million, or less than a fourth of that number. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III urges LGUs to prioritize those aged 40 to 59 in the A4 categories because they're more vulnerable. Duque says A4 vaccination in the LGU level in the NCR plus 8 areas may start within the week. I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.
In other news, a magnitude 5.5 earthquake rocked parts of Mindanao earlier this morning. FIVOC says the tectonic quake occurred at around 5:45 a.m. in the town of Burgos, Surigao del Norte. Up to intensity 4 was felt in Dapa, Surigao del Norte, while intensity 2 was likewise felt in Surigao City and Abuyog, Leyte, while intensity 1 was recorded in Alang-Alang and Baybay City in Leyte, as well as Gingoog City in Misamis Oriental. Aftershocks are possible, but the agency says these will not likely cause any damage. Two Filipinas are making waves in the comics industry. One as the voice of Netflix's adaptation of Pinoy Comic 13, and the other as a fictional superhero now included in the Marvel Universe. MJ Marfori with the details.
Film actress Liza Soberanos finally addressed criticisms against her dubbing in the much-awaited Netflix adaptation of 13, made by Budget Tan and Kadjo Baldissimo. Liza will be the Filipino voice of the lead character, Alexandra 13. She told fans how she did everything possible to prepare for the role, from obtaining and reading all 13 issues to undergoing a self-imposed Filipino-only policy at home for 2 weeks straight.
I was kind of hesitant because, of course, it's something that I'm not used to doing. I didn't want to fail, of course, and I didn't want it to go bad because the story is so nice and promising. And I also read the comics too, and I really just wanted to do justice to the character.
5 days before its June 11 premiere, 13's billboards also stirred conversation. The billboards appear vandalized. Netflix even asked what kind of monsters would do this. But netizens are convinced it's actually a genius meta publicity stunt. Speaking of comics, Marvel unveils its new heroine, Filipino-American Ariel Agbayani, an iteration of Steve Rogers' Captain America. Alyssa Wong created Ariel alongside Jody Nishijima. Ari is reportedly a college student fighting for justice in her local campus. She will appear in the 4th issue of the United States of Captain America series in September. For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
Here are the stories to watch out for later today. Davao City's treatment facilities have reached full capacity as COVID-19 infections significantly increase in Mindanao. Vaccinations for people under the A4 priority group continue in Metro Manila. In Mandaluyong, 4,000 economic frontliners are set to get their COVID-19 shot today. While in Manila, 750 doses are set to be administered at each of the city's 4 largest malls. And a low-pressure area was spotted east-southeast of Borongan, eastern Samar. It is currently bringing rain over parts of the Visayas and Mindanao. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 10 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.